This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
And aloha, everybody. It is the After Party live here on YouTube, following the Nikki Maduro Show and the Mark Thompson Show, the sister shows to the After Party Live. Thank you for hanging out. Please click the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We're up to 2,194 subscribers. So just a few more and we'll hit 2,200. So I'll be really excited about that. Or yeah, 2,200. So trying to inch our way up to growing the show. Thank you for the support. Thank you for spending your time on the After Party Live. And I know a lot of politics today. And there was also on the previous show a big announcement from Trevor Starr in Hollywood. And we thought it was a pretty good tease that there was a big announcement coming, but we don't know what the announcement is. And Mark said, "You're going back to Concord." Trevor saying on the After Party, "Nope, I am never going back to Concord." Awesome. Okay. We hear you. There's nothing wrong with Concord. Concord's a lovely place, but clearly you're happy in Hollywood, so that's very good. Aloha to Mindy. I saw Walter on the After Party Live who joined us from Hawaii, so aloha to Walter as well. Hi to Murphy. Yeah. There was a big sale yesterday, the Amazon Prime Day. I don't think it's still going on, but you know how all of the publications, because I look at a lot of news websites, and every news website has here's a list of things you need on this Amazon Prime Day. And I did get suckered into clicking on a couple of them. They had one that said things you need for your kitchen, things you need for your college dorm room. That's the one that suckered me in because my niece is headed off to college. So I was like, oh, does she have everything she needs for her college dorm room? One of the things that I saw is the air tags were on sale, and I almost bought an air tag, not because I need one right now, but because I thought, well, if I travel, Julia, I don't know if you remember, my daughter Julia went to New York last year with the high school band and was concerned that her bassoon, which we can't afford to replace, these are instruments worth thousands of dollars, that came from the school, would get stolen, and how would we replace it? So she was told, put an air tag in the boot of the bassoon so you could track it. We didn't end up doing that, but I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll buy one of these. I didn't. I thought I'm not gonna go down to the hype and buy stuff that I don't really need. So I didn't buy anything. Although I did discover that one of the things my niece going off to college really might need is a first aid kit. So I might go back and buy a first aid kit. I don't know if they're still on sale, but you can get them relatively cheaply. Did you buy anything on Amazon Prime Day sale that you didn't need? Last year, we bought an ice maker. We really needed one because we have this horrible refrigerator that doesn't make ice. We've had the repair person come multiple times. It just doesn't work. It's a horrible Samsung refrigerator. Awful. So now, and the most popular thing in the house, this is what my kids are constantly coming for ice for their drinks. It's a really cool ice machine. It takes up a lot of counter space, but I'm really glad we have it. So that was a good purchase. Did you buy anything on Amazon Prime Day? What did you get? I'm going to the chat. Let's see. Today is the last day for the sale. Oh, good. That means I can still get my deal on my first aid kit. Murphy bought some closet organizers I had in my cart for a while. Ooh, I hope you got a deal, Murphy. Nice. Yeah. My sister put an air tag on our dad. Hey, whatever works, right? Got to keep people accounted for. Absolutely. Karen says my internet was unusable yesterday, likely because of Prime Day. SF Tesla says all the other stores ran their clearance sales early to beat the Amazon rush. All right. Well, it looks like so we have Murphy that bought closet organizers. We have Karen who bought a bug zapper. I saw that. Is that the tennis racket one? I saw that was on sale too. I didn't buy that. I've had those in the past though. They're very effective. Lee bought a pair of Philips Sonic Care toothbrushes. Nice. Save a little money there. Wonderful. A viewfinder says, are you sure you have a refrigerator that doesn't make ice? Well, it's a refrigerator, freezer, ice maker, water dispenser, the whole nine yards. Like, many of them are these days. Yeah. Lensman says, get an insurance floater policy on that bassoon. Under $20 and cheaper than an AirTag. Great advice. Thank you for that. Jim Slayton, I bought an Apple Watch for the $169 one. Okay. Nice. Heather says, oh my God, I bought so much stuff, had my cart preloaded and ready to go well before Prime Day. Oh, she's a shopper who's ready to rock and roll. Nice. That's funny. Well, I'm glad that you guys are making informed decisions and that you're not just getting sucked in for, to buying stuff for the sake of buying stuff that you don't need. There's so many little gadgets they have. Gadgets you don't need. Little handheld fans that are probably pieces of trash. You just don't need it, right? You know what I did need? I needed this, Jim Slayton. Thank you for the $5. So appreciate the super sticker. Jim Slayton throwing down a $5 to help crowdfund the After Party Live. And I will say that and that reminds me that the PayPal link is in the show description and in the About tab here on YouTube. So again, thank you for whatever you can do as far as the show is concerned to keep it going. Let's jump into some of these stories, shall we? I saw this story and it interested me. This is the roof of UCLA, interestingly, where my niece is headed in the fall. And I just spotted this story on SF Gate. And the headline reads, California University wants to build a rooftop garden for taking psychedelic drugs. I'm sorry, huh? Does it make sense to have people that are on, psilocybin or hallucinogens up on top of a roof? Not thinking so. No. It's part of UCLA's vision for a new plan to build a living laboratory. Here's what they want to do. Build a plant-filled rooftop garden designed specifically for psychedelic-assisted therapy sessions. Okay, well, if it's therapy sessions, maybe they'll have a person with them, right? Like someone who's not all hopped up on whatever and can, make sure everyone stays safe. Psychedelic-assisted therapy, in which people take drugs like MDMA, which is, I think, the thing found in ecstasy, under the supervision of psychiatric professionals, has generated a lot of interest at universities across the country. Because the therapy has shown promise, though more studies are needed, in treating a wide range of mental health disorders like depression or PTSD. UCLA happens to be a leader in this kind of research. They've got a dozen clinical trials studying psychedelics. They're doing work with MDMA, psilocybin, which is found in magic mushrooms, right? And UCLA Health says this new living laboratory is being proposed for the 8th floor of the university's Semel Institute for Neuroscience and Human Behavior. And that's what they'd like to do. I don't know how I feel about it. These are college kids. I don't know. I don't know if I want a university backing this, but I get that they're doing studies on it. They're still raising funds for this project. They're not saying how much it's exactly going to cost, but it'll have an outdoor deck, group areas, private rooms, a garden with native plants that will attract butterflies and birds. So soothing sounds they'll play, bird songs, insect noises, water features with gentle water sounds that can be very relaxing. The thought is that a person's surroundings affect the success of psychedelic therapy. That increasing attention is now being paid to creating a soothing environment where these cutting-edge therapies can take place. So it's all part of the experience and how you react to it. What do they call it? A bad trip? If you're not in a good, soothing place, I guess it could increase that possibility. The professor at New York University, who's an expert in psychedelic-assisted therapy, her name's Kelly O'Donnell, said during a presentation at UCLA she's extraordinarily jealous of the rooftop garden proposal because it's much more welcoming than clinical rooms that she's worked in. She said UCLA is being really thoughtful about what this space into which the person would return from being on hallucinogens after they've gone through what she called a psychedelic trip. What do you think? You think a college should be doing this? What are your thoughts? I'm interested to know what you have to say about this. I'm going to the chat, but I do want to show you this picture. Here's another shot of what it would look like. And it looks pretty intricate. If I'm, it looks like they're really planning quite a thing here. So this is kind of the mock-up drawing. And here's more of the plans of what they've got going on. The diagram. And it's interesting. I don't know. There it is. So they have little rooms you can see. They have the water feature up at the top. The gardens, the plants. Very high walls, so no one can jump off, it looks like. That's a good thing. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to the chat. What do you have to say? What do you think? Good idea? Bad idea? They don't have space on the ground floor? Yeah, it would seem like that would be a better deal, right? Yeah. I don't know. The nude bathers have the rooftop to themselves. I don't know what that means, but okay. Calvin says, do the research, but not on a roof. Not smart. Yeah. Rev says, I'm glad you're here. Says it's an imperative to continue this research, considering the immense mental health issues in this country and the world. I agree with that. I would like to think that everything that happens on this rooftop, and it is part of their neuroscience building, would take place either as part of a study or at least with someone else, with a professional that's able to keep you safe. If that's not a done deal as part of this, then I'm not for it at all. It can't just be a place where, your random UCLA student can go up to the roof and take shrooms and hang out. No. Who wants to be the first test bunny? Again, Rev says psychedelics have shown to respond better than standard pharmaceutical psych meds. Yeah, to some mental issues. That's correct. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see if they make it happen. I don't know. I have to thank profusely, in addition to Jim, Doug, who's come in with a $5 super sticker as well. Huge thank you, Doug. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. All right. Next story is about animals. Here we go. And it involves video. So I saw this story about goats in Colorado. And I mean, I guess you could say, well, what do you expect if you're in an area that has goats like this? This is what you're going to get, right? I mean, they're not doing anything that goats don't do. Check this out. I have to share the screen with you guys. So someone drives up to this nature area in Colorado and they park their SUV thinking they parked it maybe in an area that this wouldn't happen. But the goats do what the goats do. Here they are climbing up on the SUV and hopping around. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And I mean, they're trying to, they try to get as high as possible, right? They want to be at the highest point. That's what they do. But they're jumping around. Look at them go. They trampled this SUV. This woman returned to her SUV, her Subaru, after hiking on Mount Blue Sky, about 45 miles west of Denver, and discovered hoof prints all over her Subaru SUV. That's right. That's what happened. Here they go again. And so she said they're hoof prints. They were on my car. And she had a video and she posted it to her accounts. She said it's hilarious. They were all the way up on top of the SUV. People said we're the goat, but I didn't think that's what this meant. She said, people said, I wish I could have seen that. And the wish came true thanks to this wildlife photographer who posted to Instagram, and it shows one goat walking across the vehicle's hood, a second stomping on the rooftop cargo box. She said, oh my God, that's my car. Thank you so much for capturing this. Her vehicle, she said, is goat tested and it's goat approved. I guess it is now. Do you fix the goat hoof prints on your car, the little dents, or do you just say that's a badge of honor, right? That's a real SUV. The mountain goats have special hooves that help them travel up cliffs and steep slopes, and in this case, helped them hop right up on this car. They have a hard outer rim and soft rubbery bottom that acts kind of like a suction cup so that they won't fall off. But I thought that was pretty funny. Here's another animal-related story that I found, and it's about rattlesnake cams, and there are more than one of them. There's something called the Rattle Cam. I have to share the screen with you guys. Project Rattle Cam. One of the cameras in these snake dens is in California. There it is. Here it is. And one is in Colorado. You can see this, the Rattle Cams, live streams. There it is. There's the California cam, which you can kind of see a snake resting there. In the Colorado cam I was watching earlier, and the snakes were right up. Again, you could see his face slithering with his tongue in and out, right in the camera. So this is the new thing. The rattle cams is the, trying to help people understand more about snakes. And I think it's kind of a good idea. The mega dens, there it is. Ooh, they're zooming in for us. Isn't that nice? It's a mega den webcam. They aren't telling people the exact location of where the den is because they don't want snake lovers or haters or just general ne'er-do-wells going out and messing with the animals. But there are as many as 2,000 rattlesnakes that can be viewed online thanks to this 24/7 rattle cam. It's expected to be a must watch for scientists and other snake lovers who are helping broaden the understanding of these reptiles. The remote site on private land in northern Colorado is on a hillside full of rock crevices. You can see there the Colorado cam, where the snakes can keep warm and hide from predators. It's a big den for rattlesnakes, one of the biggest that they know of. The exact location also being kept secret in the California rattle cam as well. So this time of year, only pregnant female snakes are at the den. Males and the other females move into the lower country nearby. In August, the baby snakes, rattlesnakes, will be born. They're called pups, and unlike nearly all other reptiles, they don't hatch from eggs, but apparently are born alive, and I had no idea about that. Also, unlike other rattlesnakes or other snakes, rattlesnake mothers care for their young, protecting them against predators and shielding them with their bodies. Sometimes rattlesnakes even care for the young of other rattlesnakes. The rattlesnakes are really good mothers, and people don't often know that. They get a bum rap as creepy and threatening, but because we now have these rattle cams, scientists say it'll help people understand that they're really social animals and that they don't go out of their way to be aggressive. I still don't want to meet one on a trail, right? Yeah. The researchers say, we're trying to speak up for the underdog and show people that rattlesnakes have this other side that's really worthy of your admiration. I have to look that up. I had no idea that rattlesnakes weren't hatched from eggs. Is that true? Heather, is that true? I need to know. I need to look that up. Rattlesnakes hatch. I just want to verify because that doesn't seem true to me. I had no idea. How do I go through life and not know these things? I don't know. Rattlesnakes do not lay eggs. While they produce eggs, female rattlesnakes will instead carry them inside for up to 90 days. The eggs will then hatch while still inside of her, and she will give birth to live young. Rattlesnakes only reproduce every 2 to 3 years, and this makes rattlesnakes. I had no idea. That is so interesting. And so here you see the Rattle Cam. And you can find it at rattlecam.org if you're interested in checking it out. You can see the Colorado one in there. That California cam snake looks pretty content just laying around. There was a lot more movement earlier. Anyway, that's Rattle Cam, rattlecam.org. I can't believe I didn't know that. How do I go through life and not know these things? Crazy. What about this? Here's another fool. Another fool with a desire to get a free ride in the carpool lane. And what do you think they do? Yeah, that's exactly what they do. They decide that they're going to put a dummy in the passenger seat. Now, we've seen people do this before, and we've seen them get busted for it before. And it is a big, big fine. But I guess if you get away with it long enough, you think you're golden and nothing's going to happen to you, and that your chances of getting caught are slim. That's not even a good dummy. You know, it's a wig on top of a cooler. Come on. No. The Washington State Patrol said a driver pulled over for speeding in the HOV lanes, because that's dumb too, had a surprise in her back seat. The passenger was the bust of a mannequin. The Washington State Patrol saying on social media that a trooper stopped the car on South I-5 going 80 and a 60. Officers say the woman was traveling in the HOV lane, but her only passenger turns out to be this mannequin bust propped up on a cooler disguised with a jacket. The driver said this is her training aid, and the reason it was positioned this way was to properly dry the hair. Sure it was. The driver was released with a speeding ticket. I don't know if she got a carpool lane ticket as well, but that speeding ticket isn't going to be pretty either. You know, people are going to keep trying this stuff. I don't know. You know, it was really a poor attempt, though, wasn't it? Look at that. Come on. I've seen much better. I'm not impressed. Not impressed at all. Can we talk about the lotto of the day? This story's just, it's the craziest thing. This woman from Virginia buys 6 lottery tickets and she wins 6 times. She buys 6 identical tickets for the same pick 5 drawing, and she ended up winning 6 times because she bought 6 tickets. $180,000 is what she walks away with. Her name is LaToya. She's from Chesapeake. She said she visited the Tiny Giant in Chesapeake, decided to try her luck with 6 identical tickets for the June 5th pick 5 drawing. She matched all 5 winning numbers, and each ticket was worth $30,000. So again, she walks away with $180,000. I checked the numbers and I was happy, she said. She didn't say whether she has any immediate plans for the winnings. Can you imagine winning 6 times? Who buys 6 identical lottery tickets? Is that weird? Well, it worked out in her favor, I guess. I don't know. If you've always wanted a Star Trek phaser and communicator, it's your lucky day because they're going up for auction. The long-lost Star Trek phaser and communicator props are headed for sale. A California auction house announcing a pair of long-lost props from the original Star Trek series have been found after more than 50 years and are now headed to auction. Julian's Auctions, in partnership with Turner Classic Movies, announcing that this phaser and communicator are going to be sold off as part of a co-branded event. Comic-Con Museum presents Julian's Auctions and TCM's 2024 Spotlight Series. That's a mouthful. Both of these props were used by William Shatner on screen when he played Captain James T. Kirk. The props have been authenticated by a Star Trek prop expert, and They're the hero versions used on the screen in multiple episodes of the series. They were made in 1966. They were thought to be lost for more than 50 years before they turned up in the collection of a man who recently died, who had worked in the Hollywood prop industry for many years. They're now owned by his family, and they're set to be auctioned off on November 9th. So if you're a collector of such things, that'd be something kind of cool to own. For me, things like this, what am I gonna do with that? I mean, if you had a museum-like display of stuff that was cool like that, that might be interesting. But for me, it's like, where am I gonna put that? More dust collectors and crap for my house. I don't need that. But I bet I couldn't afford it anyway. I bet they'll go for thousands and thousands of dollars. So, who's interested in that? Anybody? Go into the chat, checking it out. What do you guys think? To go back down. Beam me up, Scotty, says Mindy. Calvin says he thinks 30 grand for the set. Perhaps. Beam me up, Bones. Where have they been? They have been in the collection of a Hollywood prop guy, and no one knew he had them. So, yeah. Judy wants those. Okay, well, if you win, you have to come back and let us know how it worked out. Viewfinder says they got a time porter, not a transporter. It's the phaser and the communicator. You're making a joke there, but it's going over my head. I'm sorry. What else? Karen also would love to have those. All right. Yeah. Well, if you have to take a picture of your special Star Trek case then and send it to us so we can see how it looks at your house. You know, you can dump a lot of things. You've seen people dump mattresses and cars by the side of the road. Maybe not cars, maybe mattresses and couches, you know, some bigger furniture type of items. But have you ever seen anyone dump a plane? Kind of looks like that's what happened here. Although no one's taking credit for doing the dumping. This plane was found abandoned on the side of a roadway in Florida, and authorities are now trying to solve the mystery of how this happened and who did it. The Springfield, Florida Police Department saying on social media that a portion of the plane, the cockpit, the nose, and the front propeller, were found abandoned on the side of Transmitter Road in Bay County. The plane's markings from Zoo World in Panama City Beach have giraffe logos on the seats. The business said it got rid of this plane a week ago, that it used to be part of an exhibit, but it was removed to bring in something that would hold up for, you know, against kids climbing and that kind of thing, to make it more user-friendly for people in wheelchairs, more compliant for people so everyone could enjoy it. So they get rid of it. They said they learned that the person who took possession of the plane took it to a scrapyard. But there's some kind of material inside the instruments causing them to glow at night, and because of that, the scrapyard couldn't take it. So they took part of the plane, but they didn't take the front part that had the glowing signal lights inside. So police are now trying to figure out how the remaining portion of the plane ended up dumped on the side of a road. Does it not look like the scrapyard took what they could use and dumped the rest? The decision on whether to take civil or criminal action against the responsible party will be made once the investigation is completed, but as of now, they're still trying to figure out who put this plane by the side of the roadway and why. Interesting. Not something you see every day. Driving down the street, you see the front half of a plane. Yeah. Okay. People will dump crazy stuff. There is a problem with astronauts in space. The problem is the food in space is really not appetizing. And so you kind of have to force yourself to eat when you're up there. Scientists are saying the smell of food might make food in space more appealing. That foods tend to taste really bland in space for some reason. And so it makes it tough for them to eat enough to stay healthy while they're up there. that focusing on the smells of food could help them overcome this problem. Because aroma plays a big role in the flavor of food. Usually if something smells good, your mouth starts to water, and the smell good can make it even enhance the taste, right? Researchers found certain scents might be more powerful in the cramped confines of a spacecraft. Vanilla and almond aromas were more intense when study participants donned virtual reality goggles that simulated the confined setting of the International Space Station. The lemony scent was perceived the same as always. The findings indicate that the isolation and loneliness of space travel might play a role in astronauts' lack of appetite. So they did this experiment. It was a VR, virtual reality experiment. And the researchers with the RMIT University in Australia say it goes a long way to simulating the experience of being on the space station, and it really does change how you smell things and how you taste things as well. And even though these astronauts on the ISS are on really specially designed diet plans, they're just not eating enough during their trips there. So, according to researchers, what we're going to see in the future with the Artemis missions are much longer missions, years in length, particularly when we go to Mars. So we really need to understand the problems with diet and food and how the crew interacts with their food. And until now, the lack of appetite by astronauts has been chalked up to the weightlessness, which causes fluid to shift in the upper parts of our bodies. And that can trigger swelling in the face and nasal congestion that can affect the sense of taste and smell. The symptoms, they say, begin to disappear within a few weeks aboard the space station. But astronauts are still not enjoying their food even after the fluid shift effects are gone. And that suggests there's something a little more to the story. So they asked 54 adults to put on these VR goggles that simulate being in the space station, and then they exposed them to different food odors. A particular sweet chemical in the aromas of vanilla and almond, called benzaldehyde, might explain the change in people's scent perceptions during the space simulation. The scientists think the sweet aroma that gives highly intensive aroma within the VR setting. They published the findings in the International Journal of Food Science and Technology, if you subscribe to that one, or if you're interested. They think that this could help produce food that'll be more appetizing to people in space. They want to make better tailored foods for astronauts. Also for people who are in isolated environments to increase their nutritional intake closer to 100%. And they think this also could help people here on Earth who struggle to eat enough. Because there are people who, they just don't have an appetite. So it could help personalize people's diets in socially isolated situations, nursing homes as well, and improve their nutritional intake. So it has all kinds of potential benefits. She says as she takes a sip of tea. No appetite problem over here, sadly. But interesting. It's all about smells. How about this ring? That's a really pretty ring. It was lost in the mud. And it was lost for a while, too. 1 year ago, it was lost. A 9-year-old looking for shark teeth in South Carolina found this wedding ring that had been dropped in the river, in the muddy river, a year ago. The boy's name is Rivers. His name is Rivers, 9 years old. He was searching for shark teeth in the Stono River with his dad when he found this ring in the pluff mud on Wolf Island in South Carolina. He said it was just a little shiny thing sticking up. He and his dad took the ring home and cleaned it up, and they decided they were going to try to find the owner. They had it examined by an expert and discovered it's pretty valuable. So the boy's mom posted about it on social media, trying to return it to the lost owner. A guy, he said, responded, "Hey, my buddy lost a ring on that island about a year ago." The man explained he'd been with two people, Megan and Chris Bean, with their names, in July of 2023, when Megan's ring came off in the water on Wolf Island. He had surprised his wife with the found ring by re-proposing now. I stood there and looked at it for a second in complete disbelief, she said. The couple grateful to young Rivers and his parents for the return of their precious object. She said, "We are so thankful to that sweet family." How nice to do that, because again, that ring is a pretty valuable looking ring. They could have sold that. And instead they went on social media. And, you have to think how many people are going to respond. "Oh yeah, that's my ring," to make sure you get it back to the right people. That's a pretty cool story. I like it. I like it. I like when people do good things for each other, because things are so ugly nowadays, No one is kind. So when you hear someone doing the right thing and someone being brought joy because of it, it's always a good feeling. Yesterday, we were going to Kauai and we didn't quite get there, and we almost don't have enough time to get there today. But I'll tell you that my mom and sister and her family are in Kauai right now for my niece's senior trip. We didn't go because we have a lot of expenses this summer, so we're not really taking a vacation, but they're there and I'm getting the most beautiful pictures. And that led me to say, listen, if I can't go to Kauai with the family, how about we do it virtually together? So here we go. We're going to Kauai. Are you ready? It's really beautiful. I will say, if you've been to Hawaii, if you've been to multiple islands, everyone kind of has an island. Not everyone, many people kind of have an island that calls to them. The one that you want to go back and visit again and again. Now, technically my island is Oahu because I was born there, but I feel called to Maui. So Kauai isn't necessarily my island, but I'm not turning a trip down to Kauai either. So here we go. Things to do in Kauai for tourists. The first thing is, look at that. That's the Nepali Coast. So, so beautiful. And you can take tours of the Nepali Coast by air. The tall green cliffs, the green valleys, the waterfalls. It's incredible. You can see the Nepali Coast, they say, 3 ways. So again, you can fly over it, you can sail on the ocean near it, or you can walk it by land if you want to see it up close. You can join a guided kayaking trip along the cliffs or take a boat tour where you can actually snorkel there and sail as well. What do you think? What trip would you take? I'd probably take the kayak tour. That sounds kind of fun. I like it. You can also, and here's another thing on the list, check out Wailua Canyon. How beautiful is that? Wow. Wailua Canyon is a colorful mix of reds and browns. It spans 14 miles in length, 1 mile in width, reaches a depth of 3,600 feet. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon of Hawaii. To see it up close, they say, you can hop on a 4-wheel drive tour along Kauai's back roads. You'll pass some really interesting places along the way, charming Koloa Town, Spouting Horn Blowhole, which is really fun, except tourists try to get into the blowhole, and that's a death wish, so don't do that. There's an old Russian fort on the way as well before you get to the canyon. So fun things to do and see along the way. And what a beautiful view. The next one is Honay Bay. Look at that. With that backdrop, incredible. Honay Bay on Kauai sits on the north shore. The thinking is it's a perfect honeymoon destination, shaped like a crescent, you can see, has more than 2 miles of white sandy beach behind it, mountains, waterfalls, chill little towns along the way. A lot of water activities to do here, kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, and surfing. Honay Bay, great for learning to surf. They have almost every water sport that you can think of. Here's another one. This is Anini Beach. Oh, look at the color of that water. Yes, please. Let's just take a deep breath while we look at that picture. Nice. Anini Beach has a really big reef right off its shore, 2 miles long. Gets as wide as 1,600 feet, the reef. The water here, super clear. You can see colorful fish like parrotfish, trumpetfish, pufferfish, all against the dull coral rock. Be careful of those humu humu nuku nuku apua ah fish. My sister was bitten by one a couple of years ago. If you get anywhere near their young, they come after you. And they have teeth. There's houses on the shore. There's a sandy area where fishermen and people are seen looking for seashells. There's the Lighthouse on Kilauea Point in the east. So a lot of really beautiful things to look at here. How pretty is that? We talked for a moment about old Koloa Town. It looks a lot like Lahaina, doesn't it? Yeah. The shade of monkey pod trees helps keep Koloa Town residents cool. It's made up of red clapboard buildings that take you back to the past when it was part of the Kalala Plantation. You can get there through a tree tunnel made of tall eucalyptus trees. Once you arrive in Koloa Town, you see a small community with gift shops and ice cream stores, art galleries, restaurants, a lot of activities that you can do in Kauai's old town, Koloa Town. Koloa. Beautiful. It really does remind me a lot of Lahaina, looking at that. How about this? The Kilauea Point National Wildlife Refuge. And here you can see that lighthouse we were talking about moments ago. Look at that. Sorry, I'm going to center that picture. Yeah. Oh, it's so pretty. Isn't it? I love it. Kilauea Point. Striking scenery, rocky cliffs, iconic red-topped lighthouse, among Kauai's most picturesque locations. You have to keep an eye out while you're here for the spinner dolphins, the monk seals, the migrating humpback whales swimming offshore, a fantastic view of the ocean. You can climb the spiral staircase to the top of the lighthouse, built in 1913. The tours are available 2 days a week with incredible views of the ocean. They say you've got to add this to the list of things to do on Kauai if you're going to head that way. How about a luau? If you're going, you got to go do it. Luau kalamaku. Oh, yes. It's making me so sad I'm not there right now. It's okay. We're there together. It's Hawaiian music, dance performances, traditional food at Luau Kalamaku, hosted on the beautiful grounds at Kauai's historic Kilohana Plantation. Fun-filled activities in Kauai are held Tuesdays and Fridays. If you're interested, then they have an upgraded package that you can get as well for an extra fee, which gives you a champagne reception and a 4-course meal at the plantation's restaurant instead of the standard luau buffet. I'll take the luau buffet. That's fine. I'm down with that. Yep. Let's go to the garden, shall we? The Allerton Garden. Oh, look at the tree roots. Incredible looking. Oh, see something so different than we're used to. It's very peaceful at Allerton Garden. Wonderful activities in Kauai. This is on the South Shore, and they say Allerton is a fantastic place to explore the diverse plant life on Kauai, which is called the Garden Isle. You can wander through the garden. You can look at the swirling banyan trees, the tropical fruit trees, the vibrant flowers, the fiery orange heliconia, the blooming ginger. They say it's a really great way to immerse yourself in the lush flora of this island. Let's keep with the island and go to Limahuli Garden and Preserve. Beautiful. Looks like a taro farm there. I'm down for that. This is a Limahuli Garden and Preserve, home to endangered plants and birds, a remarkable haven covering 17 acres of botanical gardens and tropical forest. They say the Limahuli Valley is one of the most biodiverse areas in the Hawaiian Islands, that you can admire the native flora and fauna while learning about their importance and conservation efforts there as well. Well, since we're learning about history of the islands, you got to do it. Check out the Kawaii Museum. Looks like it's in an old historic building. It is conveniently located near the airport and offers insights into Kauai's environmental and cultural past. You'll learn about their volcanic beginnings, their rich human history. You'll see treasured cultural artifacts. And there are also other activities that you can do there as well. This is probably, I would say, one of the most popular beaches on Kauai. It's Poipu Beach Park. It's beautiful, really, really beautiful. If you're looking for an affordable vacation, there are a lot of activities, they say, at Poipu Beach Park in Kauai. A lot of families go here because of the natural wading pool type of effect, soft sandy beaches. They've got lifeguards that ensure safety in this area. You can try to catch a glimpse of Hawaii's endangered monk seals that are often seen bathing on the shores of Poipu. You can also, in the winter, if you go in the winter, keep your eye out because the humpback whales swim right off the coast as well. So, pretty nice. Ooh, we're back to the gardens. If I had to pick a garden, I think this might be the garden. This is the Princeville Botanical Garden. Look how green and lush that is. So pretty. It's a way to satisfy your love for nature and chocolate. That clinches it for me. You can wander through terraces, creek beds, the valley floor, admiring plants at all different elevations. You'll sample delicious, fresh Hawaiian fruit and honey. They've got an outdoor tasting area where you can also partake in the single origin gourmet chocolate. And look at the history of the transformation of cocoa beans into chocolate treats. And if you're looking for an incredible view, you can hike up to the Kalala Lookout. Wow, look at that view. Is that not beautiful? It's the Nepali Coast, again, the must-see on any Kauai traveler's list. You see the stunning green cliffs meeting the blue waters below. The Kalala Trail offers a challenging 11-mile journey through Nepali's valleys. It takes about 2 days to do this. This is not going to be on my list. I'm not taking a 2-day hike in Kauai. I'm more of a, I want to go see stuff, but I'm more of a, let's sit on the beach and read a book kind of traveler. For those not up to the hike, me, the Kalala Lookout offers an easy access to breathtaking views of the Kalala Valley. It's at 4,000 feet. It provides a panoramic vista of the expansive valley and the ocean as well. Really, really pretty. And in case you're like, ocean, I'm done. What about the river? The Wailua River. Look at the waterfalls. Incredible. My sister just sent me a picture of my family standing underneath a waterfall in Kauai. This is protected by Wailua River State Park. The Wailua River, the biggest river you can sail on Kawaii Island. It's 20 miles long, and it winds through an incredibly beautiful valley with lots of jungle around as well. Along the way, you see two pretty famous waterfalls. The Opeka'a Falls and Wailua Falls. The best way to enjoy the natural beauty of the Wailua River is by being on the water. So you can take a kayak. I think at one point I saw they had tubing tours where you could go down the river in a giant inner tube, and then you can take a short walk to a waterfall where you can swim. How about we go to the Menehune fish pond? When I was little, my mom used to call me a little Menehune girl. This Menehune is kind of like a Hawaiian leprechaun, for those who don't know. This is the Menehune fish pond, surrounded by thick jungle, rugged mountains, the ideal setting for capturing beautiful views of the sunset. If you want to experience the work of the Menehune up close, they say join a kayak tour of the Hulaia River. It's the only way to enter the Hulaia National Wildlife Refuge, which is usually restricted. You can get access to the pond in this way, the Menehune Fish Pond. Look at this beautiful building. It's the Wailoa Mission House. Wow, such history there. It's right behind Honolulu's famous green Wailoa, Waioli Church. This is where the historic Waioli Mission House was once home to three families who spread the gospel in the early 1800s. It's a two-story, four-bedroom house in the oldest Western-style home on the island. It was built in 1837. They've got guided tours of the mission house Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. If you're more of a water sports person, then let's go see the mission house. Check out scuba diving at Tunnels Beach. Is that not the most incredible picture of a sunset? Wow, beautiful. This is under lush mountains, shaded by shaded palm and ironwood trees. Tunnels Beach has golden sand, tranquil blue waters. It's known as one of the top snorkeling spots in all of Kauai. It has two layers of reef, an inner reef with calm waters where you can spot sea turtles. The outer reef is a popular scuba diving site with a really diverse terrain, which has sections that drop down to 70 feet. So I'll stay on the inner reef and snorkel around, kick around, and just check everything out. Pretty cool. What if you wanted to go check out some caves? Well, you can go to the Makawai Cave Reserve. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Something you don't see here every day. It's home to a network of sinkholes and limestone caves, including Hawaii's largest cave. The caves are filled with captivating fossils. They support a diverse underground ecosystem of plants and animals. Covering acres of forest, wetlands, and dunes, the reserve here provides a habitat for numerous native plants, water birds, tortoises. Beautiful. How about the Kilohana Plantation? Take a little train there around the plantation. Check it out. It's in Lihue, the Kilohana Plantation, a short distance from downtown Lihue. It's a great place to dive into the culture and the history of the island. You can take this train ride through the plantation's farm and tropical orchards. You can treat yourself to traditional Hawaiian cuisine, pick up some souvenirs here, taste the rum at the plantation's distillery. Yes, please. In the evenings, you can catch one of their exciting luau's, and they have theatrical experience here as well. If you're into the museum thing, check out the Koki Natural History Museum. Everything here is just the pictures with the colors, so pretty. This is between Wailua Canyon and Kalala Lookout on the Nepali Coast. It's the aging Koke'e Museum. It's a regional visitor center and a natural history museum as well. They have maps, cultural and geological information, 19th century botanical prints, bird dioramas, invasive species specimens, gift shop with Kauai handmade souvenirs. So pretty fun. And the Koki Lodge restaurant has an all-day breakfast. Who doesn't like that? So there's your trip to Kauai. My family is there now, sending me the most incredible pictures. And I am feeling like we just took a little trip. So, we have some incredible pictures too. I hope you enjoyed your trip to Hawaii. Aloha to you. Thank you incredibly to Jim for tossing in $5 to the After Party Live, for Doug for tossing in $5 to the After Party Live. Luis saying, here's some kindness coming your way, my friend. Thank you for all you do. No, Luis, thank you for all you do and for supporting the show. Really appreciate it. SJ Lola coming in with $5. Thanks for the Kauai travel log today. A little mini vacay. That's kind of how I feel. Do you feel more relaxed after we take a virtual trip together? Because I kind of do. Maybe it's all in it must be all in my head. I don't know, but I do feel a little more relaxed after seeing the pictures and almost kind of imagining myself there. A good imagination over here, I guess you could say. I don't know. All right, you guys, please click the thumbs up button if you can. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe as well. Really trying to push toward that 2,200 at this point. And I will see you tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow is Trivia Thursday. Nikki and I at 10 a.m. will be talking about the goings on at the Republican National Convention and the J.D. Vance speech that we're expecting tonight. Tomorrow on The Mark Thompson Show, David Katz will talk about Supreme Court reform and many other things as well. But thank you for spending your hour with me here on the After Party Live. I always really appreciate the downtime and being able to chill with you guys here. All right. Make it a really great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you back here on the YouTube tomorrow. But for now,
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Magnum PI Mansion is on Oahu, I believe. Oh my God, have the best time, SJ Lola. Woohoo!